welcome back, guys. This is segment 3. We're still on lesson 1 of Speaking 1. So now what we want to talk about is this idea of titles. In some countries, there are lots of titles to choose from. Some countries, not very many. In most Western countries, we don't use titles all that much, but there are a few that are important, and sometimes they're confusing for those of you who don't live in the same part of the world. So we're going to pull this up and pull over these titles and talk about what they mean. Okay, so here you see the first title we've got is Mr. Now this is the easiest one because it's pretty much what we use for all men. So Mr. you can pretty much just think of as the title that you use for men. Okay, the next 3 are a little trickier at times. Okay, we've got Miss, we've got Ms, and we've got Mrs. So this one is pronounced just like it looks, Miss. And this is for unmarried women. Sorry, make that a little easier to read. All right, so this is for unmarried or single women. And usually it's for young single women. Okay, the next one we're going to skip for just a second because it's the most difficult to understand. We go down to Mrs. Mrs, it's pronounced like with a Z. Ms is. Mrs. Okay? Mrs is for married women. Married women. All right. And Ms, you can kind of think of as everything else. So for Ms, you might use it if the person is not yet married, but if she is not very young, so maybe a 40 or a 50-year-old woman, you wouldn't call her Miss anymore. It would be more polite to call her Ms. It could be someone who has been divorced, or maybe their husband has died. They would also often go with Ms. But most often we use Ms if we don't know whether the woman is married or unmarried. Okay, so this one is usually for people who are older but single, people who we don't know whether they are married, so we don't know their marital status, or if they are divorced. Because if they're divorced, they're no longer going to be using their husband's name, and so Mrs. doesn't work. Okay, so this is the basic idea with these titles. We've got Mr., again, for all men. We've got Miss, for young single women. We've got Ms. for single women who are a little older, if we don't know their marital status, or if they're divorced. Okay, and then Mrs. is for married women. Now, just to clarify, those of you who have trouble, Miss, you're going to hear this S. But for this one, it sounds like a Z. It sounds like Ms, M-I-Z. Okay, so that's the difference in the titles. Now then, it's very important that you understand we use all of these titles with last names. Last names. So for example, earlier we had Shelley Jones. Shelley Jones. Okay? So if Shelley Jones is young and single, she would be Miss Jones. If she's married and Jones is her husband's last name, she would be Mrs. Jones. But it's always used with the last name. There is one exception to this, and that is if you're in certain parts of the United States and maybe some other countries, if it's someone that you know very well, maybe they are a close friend of your family, but you still want to show them respect because they're older than you, in that case, sometimes we'll use these titles, Mr., Miss, Ms., or Mrs., and we'll use them with the first name. But that's rare. That's not the common way to do it. Usually you always use it with the last name unless you're very close in relationship to the person but still want to show them some respect. Okay, so we're going to move on now from titles and we're going to talk about nationalities. Now then, nationalities are challenging because they get confused with countries. Okay, I'm going to shrink this up a little bit so it'll fit on here. All right, when we talk about nationalities, they're very similar to countries. But notice that the country is the place, the name of the place where you're from. And for that reason, it's going to be a noun. When we talk about nationalities, we're not talking about the place, we're talking about the people, the kind of people. And because we're dealing with kind, that's why these are adjectives. Okay, so it's really important to understand the difference between countries and nationalities. Countries are going to be nouns, they're going to be places, and nationalities are going to be people, the people that come from that place, or adjectives. So let's look at some examples of this. Okay, these are some countries. The countries I've brought in so far: the United States, Indonesia, Brazil, Japan, the Netherlands, Thailand, and Germany. All of those are countries. Those are names of places, and so they're all nouns. But what happens when we talk about the nationalities? Well, sometimes the nationality will sound very similar to the country. Other times it doesn't. So I'm going to write down for you the nationalities. People from the United States, what are they called? You're right. I'm from the United States and I am an American. So, American. C-A-N. Okay? Now then, what about those of you who are from Indonesia? In English, what would we say you are? Indonesian. Good. Okay, so you see that for these two, basically all we did was add the end. For America, it's American. For Indonesia, it's Indonesian. That's true often, but not always. It depends on the country's name. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of rules for these. You just kind of have to memorize them. But it is true that often if the country ends with A, we just add N to get the nationality. So let's move on. Brazil. Brazil will be Brazilian. Brazil, I-A-N. So again, we see all of these with the A-N at the end. But the next one's not that way. Japan. Japan is going to use another common ending. It's Japanese. Good. Japanese. Okay, the Netherlands. In my opinion, this is one of the most difficult ones because the name of the country and the name of the people are nothing alike. The name of the country is the Netherlands, but the people are Dutch. D-U-T-C-H. So this is one of those reasons why you just have to memorize nationalities. You can't always follow a system of rules. How about Thailand? Well, this one's unique too because whereas the others we added something to the end of all of them, in this case we're going to take something away. For Thailand, the people are just called Thai. They are Thai people. That is their nationality. Okay, so the last example we've got, the Germany people, or the people from Germany, I almost gave it away there, are called German. Okay, so Germany with the Y is the name of the place. German without the Y is the name of the people. All right, so this is the basic concept of nationalities. You've got countries that are the places where the people are from, and the nationalities are the kinds of people, and so these are adjectives. So you could be an American citizen, an Indonesian citizen, a Brazilian citizen, a Japanese citizen, a Dutch citizen, a Thai citizen, or a German citizen. Or you could say, I am from the United States, from Indonesia, from Brazil, because those are the places. All right, so I want to do this with a little bit of a game. So the game that we're going to play, I am going to give you the name of either a country or a nationality, and I want you to give me the opposite. Okay? So for example, if I give you the name of the country, Canada, then you're going to give me the name of the people, which are Canadian. Okay? If I give you the name of the nationality, for example, Dutch, then you're going to tell me the name of the country, Netherlands, right? Okay? You understand how to play? All right, so I'm going to say it. You'll have a second or so to respond, and then we'll show you the correct answer. Okay? Here we go. Mexican. Good, from the country of Mexico. China. Good, the people are Chinese. Egyptian. From the country of Egypt. Australia. The people are Australian. American. Yes, the people are from the United States, or the country is the United States. France. Good, the people are French. Brazilian. From the country of Brazil. Good. South Korea. The nationality is South Korean. Good. Ethiopian. The people are from the country Ethiopia. Great Britain. The people are British. Good. Argentine. This one's a little tricky. Argentine people are from the country of Argentina. Good. Japan. The people are Japanese. And our last one, listen carefully. Those of you in Indonesia might get a little tricked up by this one. What about the Sudanese? Sudanese. They are from the country of Sudan, right, in Africa. So that's a little bit different than the Sundanese, which are a people here in Indonesia. So one is from the country of Sudan, they are Sudanese, and the people that are from Sunda, or the area of Indonesia in West Java, they are Sundanese with the extra N. All right, well, I hope you have enjoyed this segment 3, where we talked about titles of people and also nationalities. We'll be coming back in just a minute with our final segment where we're going to put all of these together. But right now, we want you to press pause on the video and answer the questions on your worksheet for segment 3.